Hello out there. It is
Hello.
gonna be a bad batch of dope tuna.
Wait, I want to tweet that.
You can't do it.
I'm gonna tweet that. Okay.
It's like our new slogan.
Honestly,
Welcome. I see Bear, I see Sind, and I see Cal. Thank you guys for being here. We're gonna talk about Bad Batch as much as we can without getting off topic, which will probably happen. We're gonna try to.
which
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, all of you should have no hope. I mean, I like the Bad Batch. I'm excited to talk about it, but have no hope that we're gonna stay there for long. Just no hope.
I just want you to know that I'm so used to you being here that I've forgotten to link you in the tweet because I've hit the point where I thought it was assumed. So congratulations.
I really like that.
You're such a regular now that I forgot to loop you in the tweet. I like your mug, by the way.
It's a gift from my sister.
It's so good. Okay, so can we get off topic if we haven't been on topic yet? Is that a thing?
That is a thing. I mean, technically, we've already established that we're here to talk about the Bad Batch.
That's true.
But then we immediately got off topic.
Hello, Pop Culture Kayla. Welcome. Okay, so Bad Batch. Oh, and Mr. Rez, welcome. So many friends showing up.
Wow.
That y'all not staying on topic is what makes the stream so fun. Don't encourage this. Steve! There's a guy, there's this person in the chat, his name is Steve, and you have to say it like this. Steve!
Steve! Like that?
Exactly like that. That's specifically his name. That is the exact pronunciation. Steve is not how you pronounce his name. It's Steve.
I love that.
Yeah. I hope everyone out there is doing well. Okay, so last week we got news about the next Star Wars cartoon. It's gonna supposedly, I guess spin-off is technically the right word, but I guess we'll see how thematically connected it is. But it's gonna be about the Bad Batch characters we got in season 7 of the Clone Wars, which suddenly made, I feel like we kept saying in Mandalorian, we kept saying, oh, this makes sense now, and like this show announcement is like, this makes sense now why they included the Bad Batch episodes, because those had already been fairly well shared prior to the season. But how are you, like, what's your general vibe? How are you feeling about the show?
Well, okay, so right off the bat, I'm excited.
Yep.
I enjoyed every single arc that we got in the last season of the Clone Wars. But I particularly enjoyed this one like a lot.
Yeah.
And I did not watch any of the other stuff that we had gotten before, so this was like my introduction to them.
Gotcha.
And so I'm happy to have more of them. I'm really, really excited. It does feel a little safe. Yeah. I will say that.
That's fair.
Because we've been in this era before. I mean, I'm never going to say no to more Star Wars content. Right. I think it's kind of weird that we're not playing in the sequel trilogy timeline, but I have a feeling that there's a reason for that. And I will say, so we talked a little bit about this, like, just like regular talking. And on the surface, I was kind of nervous because I was like, well, that's a bunch of guys all played by D. Bradley Baker. But then we started talking about like the people who are behind it. And I have to believe that it's also going to be something else. And so I'm hopeful. I'll say that. I'm extremely hopeful.
Yep. I'm in a similar boat. I'm just excited for another Star Wars animated series. I'm hoping, since we have, what are we up to? 3 known live action shows plus a 4th one that we know nothing about. I'm hoping we can like get more than one animated show at a time, if I can be greedy. I'm excited just for the concept of the show. I'm excited for the time period. I'm excited for clones, especially unusual clones, trying to figure out who they are, like in the New Empire. I liked the Bad Batch episodes. I didn't like, they weren't necessarily like my favorite arc in all of Clone Wars, but I didn't have the same issues with them that a lot of other people had. I thought they were just kind of fun characters, so I'm cool with seeing it through their eyes. I definitely think there's room for more than them to be in the show, that they can be the framework.
Actually, now that you say that, so I watched the Clone Wars like right before it left Netflix.
Yep.
And so I just like sped watched through all of them, and then it was gone. And then I was
Mhm.
like, oh, that was amazing, but it's not here anymore. And then when we got Disney Plus and we found out we were getting last season, I was like, I'm gonna rewatch random arcs. And especially after we got The Mandalorian, I was like, I'm gonna rewatch arcs that have to do with Mandalorian things.
Yeah.
So I have yet to rewatch all of it, but I've rewatched quite a few. And I think tentatively, Bad Batch is my favorite arc that has happened in all of Clone Wars.
That's
So,
amazing. I'm here for. I mean, it's good.
Kind of freaking out.
I loved Hunter, it's Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, and Crosshair. I think Crosshair was my favorite. Actually, Crosshair was.
Hunter was my favorite.
Yep.
But I always go for like either main character or lead. I can't help it. That's just always my favorite character. So
I think what got me with Crosshair was one of the first things we heard about him was he didn't talk a lot, but then in every episode he had comments, and I'm like, I thought you didn't talk a lot. And for some reason that made me like him. And Kayla brings up Echo. I am really excited for more
True.
Echo.
I'm really yes.
Because I watched Clone Wars as it came out on TV, and I remember when Echo died, and I was sad. And then Dave, when the show got canceled, was like, his one bit of mercy was like, guys, the show's dead, but guess what? Echo isn't. And I was like, what the frick? and then we got Bad Batch. So it was pretty exciting. Pop Culture Caleb says, I just want to know if it's a sequel or prequel to Clone Wars Season 7. Like, will we be seeing Bad Batch doing missions before Order 6? The overall show is a sequel show. It's post Order 66.
I think it's a sequel. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we won't see them as a part of Order 6. Like, I could see the first episode being Order 66.
Yeah.
I was having this discussion with someone now. I've had so many the day this came out. I can't remember who I was discussing this with. But we were asking about how they would respond to Order 66, because I'm wondering if they even have the inhibitor chip. I would think they would, but it's unusual that they, like, the thing no one really wants to mention about the Kaminoans that comes up in the Fives arc in Season 6 that no one wants to talk about, that's just scary, is Kaminoans don't like imperfections, and they remove imperfections. So there's already something unique about these guys that they lived. And so I just kind of wonder if maybe the chips wouldn't even work the same way. Like, I'm kind of curious if they would participate in Order 66.
You bringing that up makes me realize that I don't want to see Order 66 again. Like, I mean, I feel like we've seen it kind of a lot, and we've seen it from a lot of different perspectives, and each one that we've got has been super unique. And so it'd be different if, like, we kept seeing the same thing over and over again. And I appreciate, like, the new lenses and whatnot. And so if they give me a fresh, like, take on it, I'll be okay. But I want it in a way that's like, oh, these inhibitor chips make us do, like, something else, or for a second, like, we're worried for one of us, but like, I kind of don't want to see, one, because we've seen it a lot, and two, because it would just break my heart again, and I don't know if I can take that.
Oh, Zolan has a great point. Also, hello. Echo might not have a chip anymore, considering he's got cyborg parts in his head. Oh.
Also that.
That's an intriguing thought. And then Cal says he wouldn't be terribly surprised if, even if he still had the chip would somehow be affected. So I think that would be interesting if Echo, like, didn't have this chip, didn't really even know it was a thing, and then like, or unless, what if Echo knows about it? Because Echo was tied into Separatist plans. I don't know if the Separatists would necessarily have known about it. Like, I don't know that's a guarantee, but I wouldn't be mad if Echo knew about it. But then I guess, why wouldn't Echo say anything? So
I wouldn't be mad if he did or did not know about it. That to me creates a really good, like, 1 episode, 2 episode, like, plot line of angst where I'm just like, what's gonna happen? But then I want it to be over with, and I want them all to be okay.
Right, exactly. But I like that idea, and I really like the idea of, I guess there's always the part of me that never wants the clones to go through with Order 66 because it's sad. But then there's the part of me that's like, it would be so interesting to stay with clones who did take part in Order 66 and have to deal with what did I do.
Yeah. And I think that's that other lens or like point of view where I'd be like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You're hurting me, but I'll take it because at least it's like something a little bit different.
Yeah, I agree. Especially that we haven't really stuck with them. Like nothing that I can think of have we like experienced Order 66 and really stuck with it right after. Like even Jedi Fallen Order, there's an Order 66 sequence. And obviously the game is after Order 66, and a lot of it is Cal dealing with his life because of after Order 66. But even then, we see where he is for Order 66, and then we do a several-year time jump. Like, I can't think of anything where we've really dwelled in the moments after, off the top of my head.
Unless it's in a comic, and we know I don't read those.
Comics.
So.
And I'm behind on comics, so it could be in a comic I haven't read. I don't even really think we get much in Legends, to be honest. So that could be really interesting.
Okay, delving into like fresh. Oh, go ahead.
That's not true. It's probably in the Republic Commando and Imperial Commando books that I didn't read. Well, no, I read enough and then I stopped reading. But that's not a discussion we need to have.
I mean, I think, and I think one thing that we like kind of said at the beginning of this is that, you know, there were a lot of reactions to this show. There were some people who were like super excited and some people who thought it was like very safe. And I even said that this timeline is very safe. But telling us this story from like following through of what happens after, I think new ground is always exciting.
Yep.
And so in a way, I guess it's not so safe. And so for that, I appreciate it like more.
And I think there's safe and then there's safe, right? Because like I said something when the show got announced of like, when has Filoni ever been a part of a show that ended up being about what it said it was about? And granted, he's more of like an executive producer, like he was on Resistance, than he is directly involved. But like when you think about The Mandalorian, and The Mandalorian got announced, everyone was like, this show is really safe. It's about a Mandalorian. And then we got Baby Yoda, which right now, the phenomenon that is Baby Yoda seems safe, but it was not. I will forever say there's a reason why he was kept secret, and it's because we all would have thought it would be the stupidest thing if we knew about it before we saw it.
I mean, because we've had months of like loving and knowing Baby Yoda, where like I think we've gotten a little like comfortable or things like that. But if you think about like the first moment we saw Baby Yoda, the first moment we saw the Darksaber, all these things, we were just like, I'm sorry, you guys did what now?
You did what?
And it's just all of that could have not worked.
Yep.
And yet it did.
It did.
So.
Well, and I still kind of go back to seeing Maul in Solo.
That also, I freaked out when that happened.
Well, I remember I was watching there was like the StarWars.com live stream of like the Solo premiere, which for the trilogy I avoided because I was like paranoid of spoilers. But I was like, for Solo, like there's gonna be stuff in the movie I don't know, but like what plot twists are gonna be in Solo? And I was watching it, and this one guy like came out of the movie, and he's like, "Man, I got to the end," and I was like, "Wow!" And I'm like, "What is at the end of Solo?" Where it's like, what, the Falcon is a different color? Like what could be the big plot twist? And then I saw the movie and I like levitated out of my seat. But I don't know. I think I do agree that a lot of like big scale decisions with Star Wars right now have a degree of safeness to them, not knowing more about what they're going to be. Even like you can kind of look at it two different ways with High Republic, because either that's a completely new era, so is that safe, or is it, you know, the rebooted Knights of the Old Republic, in which case it is totally safe. But a lot of that I lay squarely at the feet of whoever didn't market Solo just to bring up Solo. Because Solo was a good movie that no one saw. Like, we all saw it because we're Star Wars fans, but like no one saw Solo. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I actually saw this really interesting tweet. Okay, I have to go on a mini rant real
Okay.
fast because I'm me, but I need everyone to know that I love Solo
Mm-hmm.
so much. It's such a good movie,
Mm-hmm.
but I need everyone to take my love with Solo with a grain of salt because if my family ever sees this, they're gonna need me to mention this. Woody Harrelson is my nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to fight Woody Harrelson, and so I love this movie. But I can't praise it too much because he's in it. And with that said, I can go back to praising it. I just need everyone to know I want to fight Woody Harrelson.
Which is one of my
Um,
favorite things about you.
and there's like no good reason. It just happened one day where I was like, this man is my nemesis. And he keeps showing up in like movies I really like, and I get mad about it. Um, but with that being said, I wish I had kept the screen name of whoever. I saw this tweet earlier
Yeah.
today. I think it was because someone was asking for controversial Star Wars opinions,
Yeah.
which those are always
Great.
interesting. And someone said that, like, if you're gonna judge a movie based off of money, because I guess that's what we do,
Mm-hmm.
and people can fail at being $1 million movies,
Yep.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Someone pointed out that Solo actually like did really well. It's just they basically made 2 movies, which
Yep.
is why it doesn't seem like it did well. And
Yep.
I knew that,
Mm-hmm.
but then I thought about that, and I
Yep.
was like, you guys are just mean. Solo's good, except for Woody Harrelson.
Right. Well, and like my beef with Solo, and this, as much as we always get off topic, I do kind of loop this around to Bad Batch because this is why I blame us for getting safe things. But like, to me, what happened with Solo is the definition of why we can't have nice things. Because anytime something is having a problem, be it a movie, TV show, video game, novel, it doesn't matter, any form of entertainment that's struggling, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta like we're just taking it. We can't lose money on this. We're just going with it. And it comes out and it's garbage. And people are like, well, why didn't they take longer? Why didn't they do whatever? Why didn't they do the thing? And so then Solo comes, and granted they didn't push Solo back, but they were like, you know what? We're gonna redo Solo. We're gonna reshoot a whole bunch of the movie, and even if it means we take a bit of a hit in the profits, we're gonna make the movie what we want it to be. And then everyone's like, well, this movie failed, and I'm just like, it did what everyone always, whatever film Twitter. I have never been, nor do I ever want to be a part of film Twitter, because the fringes of film Twitter I have found make me want to.
Yeah.
Anyway, I get so mad because it's like, here's a movie that literally was like, you know what, we're Star Wars, we can deal with it if we don't make a bajillion dollars. Let's just make this movie. And then everyone was like, well, why'd you do that, guys? And anyway, the movie was perceived as a flop. Yeah. And I personally blame not the movie Solo, because Solo was good. Whoever chose to not market Solo, because Infinity War needed to keep making a bunch of money 4 weeks later or whatever, because we were all really worried about how Infinity War was going to do.
Yeah.
And just not market Solo. And that's why I think we can't have nice things.
Speaking of not marketing things, I need to know if they're gonna do this show like they did Resistance. I don't know. I don't know what happened with Resistance.
Heard of?
Exactly. I feel like no one talked about their show. It came on random times or on the Disney Now app. I really liked Resistance. There was like a split second where I was like, what is happening? And then I was like, okay, I'm in love with this.
Yep.
I firmly put on my tinfoil hat, and I think that show is supposed to last more than 2 seasons. I don't think that it was the plan to end it after 2 seasons. I just don't believe that at all. I mean, they still gave us a nice little like bow wrap, you know, no spoilers, but how I wanted it to end is how it ended.
Agreed.
And so I would like to know off the bat. I mean, I feel like, not that they didn't have faith in Resistance, but it was definitely the most probably diverse in front of the screen and behind the screen show. So, and it's the sequel trilogy. So maybe they were, I guess, a little nervous. And I feel like the Clone Wars era and now the prequels era is like a definite like, woo, we love this. But then again, now we don't have like Ahsoka or Anakin or Obi-Wan. So I don't know how they're going to feel if it's just like just clones. I don't know how safe they're going to think. But if it's only going to be like, if it's going to be like a miniseries with a definite start and a definite end, I'm okay with that. I like shows like that. I want to know. I don't want to get to like another season or like the second or the third season and they're like, oh, this is over, because I'm just going to assume you canceled it. And you're like, so I just want to know. Don't do me like Resistance.
I agree. I think that at some level, like I'm kind of in the middle on it. I think they intended for it to have more seasons, but I also think that they knew enough ahead of time that they were able to, like, while there was definitely more story to tell, I feel like the ending we got was one where they knew it was going to be an ending when they were putting it together. Like my tinfoil hat is, once they knew they were getting Disney Plus, they were like, we don't want to have a show not on Disney Plus. We don't want to move the show to Disney Plus, so let's just kill the show. And that's clearly the only way to handle things. And that's my tinfoil hat theory. Like, it wasn't so much like because I kept saying that I didn't think it was canceled, but I was fighting against the people who thought it was underperforming, it was too kiddie, no one liked it. And I'm like, it was not canceled because of critical reception, because they wouldn't have time to cancel it for critical reception. They would have had time to end it because they knew Disney Plus was coming.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I see it.
I just like the overall storylines, they wrapped up well, but I'm just like, you know, you had the children of Tehar, you had Mika Gray, you had all these side stories that I'm just like, but can you tell me more?
Well,
then they didn't.
I did
and I was like, okay.
So many of my reviews, I was talking about what's up with Kaz's dad. And, like, literally we get one episode where it's like, the family's fine, LOL, watch out. The First Order's a thing, if you didn't know that. And I'm like, it's freaking Zima! Like, I know not everyone probably knows who Zima is, but he's not a no-name actor who voices his dad. Like, you don't get him for 3 lines of dialogue. Unless maybe he was just at the studio and bored, and he's like, you have any 3-line roles for me? This critically acclaimed actor that I can just do? Like, I don't know.
one of my unless you're gonna pull like a Ming Na, where I'm just like, okay, I'm mad that you guys made me think she's dead, but I don't think she's dead, except in Resistance isn't coming back. One of my favorite things about listening to Sky Talkers, where they were like, who's the spy? Who's the spy? And then like the spy thing just went away, and they were like, I guess we're not worried anymore. And I'm just like, I think there was supposed to be something there. I really do.
My theory,
but there's not.
My theory with the spy thing is, I feel like that's almost something we all ran with more than the show was really trying to run with. Because, like, there's the episode where you think it's Doza, Captain Doza, and then you find out that he is working for the First Order, but he's doing it because his people need food and stuff. And I legitimately, I could be wrong, but I legitimately think that's the resolution of the Who's the Spy plotline. But, like, the rest of us were like, but who's the spy? Like, it would be it's like the equivalent of the nobody reveal in The Last Jedi. We're like, the spy is nobody. And we're all like, but who's the spy? It was Palpatine. Palpatine was the spy.
Somehow Uncle Palpy is the spy.
Clearly.
I love that so much. But yeah, I'll take a miniseries. I'll take a bunch of series. I'll take 7, whatever. If it's gonna be like a bunch, then don't tell me, because I just want to like roll with it. I feel like they won't cancel that show because it'll be a success. But if it's gonna be a miniseries, I want you to tell me.
Exactly. The Moss was the spy. No, I'm waiting for us to get whatever Rey's up to after Tross, with hanging out with like her Jedi friends, Finn and Janna, like, and they're like, yo, there's this kid named Broom Boy. That's his actual name, Broom Boy. That's what they call him. And he's like, I have a name, and they're all like, yeah, but we don't want to say it, and so your name is Broom Boy. And then they're like, the kids from Dahar are now like the moody teenagers from Dahar or something. And they just go around and have adventures, and then Nika just shows up, and they're like, do you have the Force? And she's like, well, does anyone really have the Force? And they're like, go away, stop eating our food. And she's like, no. And then those are the adventures they have. I'm available.
Here's what just happened. We don't know it, but Dave Filoni's watching this stream, and he just pruned you off the trust tree because he's like told all the secrets.
I'm just like, the writing company of Dope Tuna. We have so many ideas here, guys. Waiting.
Hire us.
There's so many ways in which it's like everyone's dream to write a Star Wars, and I'm like, you should never let me within 2 miles of a Star Wars. Like, the things that would happen.
If they let me near a Star Wars, I would do whatever the heck I wanted and have an amazing time doing it, and everyone would come on Twitter to harass me, and I would be like, no. And it would be the greatest thing ever.
Remind me to text you a joke later that I'm not going to say on stream.
Okay. I would just do my best to be unbothered by the whole thing. I'd troll everyone. I would troll everyone about my Star Wars.
Just to mess with everybody.
So, also... I'm sorry. That's really funny.
You guys will never know.
Just know it's really, really funny.
But anyway, all of the stuff
the Bad Batch
with Resistance, it does connect because we have a lot of people who worked on Resistance coming to Bad Batch, which is really cool. I will, Cal. The lead writer for Bad Batch is Jennifer Corbett, and she wrote the episode where we first meet my space mom, Tora's mom, and so that and she wrote some really good episodes in the second season too. So I was really excited that she's going to be the lead writer, and I think this is the first lead writer who is a woman on a series. Like, I think there've been obviously because she's written stuff. Like, she's not the first female writer per se,
right?
But, first time show running basically, which is really exciting.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think because we touched on a little bit, one of the biggest complaints was okay, are there going to be women? You know, are there anyone else? Because Bad Batch are all guys and stuff.
Yep.
But to me, looking at this list of people we have behind it, Athena Portillo, Brad Rauch, Jennifer Corbett, Carrie Beck, I'm just I fully believe that there's going to be
stuff
a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
Even if we didn't have things like The Mandalorian or arcs of the Clone Wars or any of that as proof, I would say that these individuals who specifically made Resistance, they're going to bring that into the show. And that's why I'm not worried. I mean, we could get the show and I could be completely wrong. And then I'll write a strongly worded letter to Lucasfilm. And that's just how that's going to go.
Exactly.
But I believe it will be okay. And that this is just that thing where it's it's exactly, like The Mandalorian. It's we're going to bring all these people in, and these people who are kind of curious, like Gina, but don't really care for Mandalorians. And suddenly she cares. It's we're going to bring all these people who care about the clones and things. Suddenly there's this other thing, and they care, and it works. So I'm not worried. Well, is that a little I wonder though, do I like that approach? I mean, for The Mandalorian, it worked. I didn't want to know about Baby Yoda or any of that before, because like you said, I'd be I'd have too many questions and I wouldn't let myself
enjoy
just
it.
take the ride.
Yeah.
But also I can't help but wonder, after every project that Lucasfilm announces, are we going to have a chorus of, okay, but how diverse is this? Eventually that's going to get tired.
Right.
So either we're just going to trust them, or they're just going to have another surprise behind the diverse surprise.
Right. Well, that's something I see. And I try really hard not to bring too much Twitter discourse here, because I like to think it's a slightly different space. But that is something that I see often, is this idea of, is it fair to have to trust storytellers when you feel like you haven't they haven't done anything to earn that trust ahead of time? And for me, I certainly wouldn't police how anyone feels about that. I'm more of the, I kind of want to see what it is before I start making judgments, because it's going to be easier for me to enjoy it if I start at, okay, show me what you got, than if I start at cynical. But that's me. I don't really have a problem with anybody else who wants to start at cynical. We're all, and maybe that's even an unfair way to say it, just unfair. We want to start at apprehensive, maybe is a better way to say it. Because I'm not trying to put a negative connotation onto anybody. But I think there's different ways you can look at it, but we'll see. For me, kind of looking at the title Bad Batch, like we automatically think of those 5 clones. But, you know, if they start this group outside of whatever it is they're doing, more people can join the Bad Batch. And then you can have these other characters, and then we can have whole episodes centered on not even all 5 of those guys, you know, doing something else. Because, like, Clone Wars, I mean, what made Clone Wars so strong, in my opinion, is because it was an anthology show. You know, we could spend time with Anakin and Obi-Wan, and then we could spend, like, 3 episodes with Ventress that had, like, nothing to do with any of, like, the main characters. Welcome, Rusar. So, you know, I think there's room. And, like, I get not trusting like the overall powers that be, and I get being worried about it. I guess I feel better because we have people coming over from Resistance, and Resistance did so well.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're in the exact same place. There is a version of me that could be nervous, especially because I'm coming back from feeling like I'm let down by Star Wars. But I'm also just like super optimistic in general, so I'm like, I'll try most things once. So I'm gonna try it.
Yeah. I think the thing that
but it helps.
Yeah. I think what helps for me too is I just truly don't believe this will be the only show we have. I feel like, because like I try to stay out of the rumors too much because I like to have some surprises, but this is not the only show that has been rumored that's been floating around. And if the other rumored shows kind of pop up, I think it's going to also help. I mean, it's interesting to me that Filoni is only the executive producer and he's not like doing this, which means it's either because he's still that ingrained in The Mandalorian, or he's working on another animated show. So I don't think he's hit the point where I don't want to be supervising director anymore on a show. I think it's probably more that.
At first I was shocked.
Yeah.
But then I thought about all the things he's done, especially with The Mandalorian, especially because we've had the behind the scenes stock and everything he's got to try and stuff. It's like, actually, no, this makes sense. We're also going to get another thing.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. That's all I have to believe.
Yep. But no, I get it though, because we have, it's in that weird place where I'm really excited for everything that's announced, but I also get why people are frustrated about what's announced. Like, I love The Mandalorian. I am so excited for a Kenobi show and Ewan coming back. I am probably the most excited for Cassian. I am so excited for Cassian. But like, I get the frustration that those are 3 dude shows, and then we got another dude show, and I get it. And I should probably be more upset about it than I am. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not really mad about anything we're getting. I just want other things.
Yeah, story of my life. Exact story. This is exactly how I feel about things. Plus, I can't help but feel, just because, and maybe this is just me like theorizing or like speculating too much, but I just think about all the people involved in Lucasfilm who know they're fans and who have a good idea of like what tells a good story, what we want, but also really want to make money. And so I can't help but feel that there's a plan of some sorts there. Whether we're all gonna like that plan, I do not know. But I mean, I think about like when we were watching The Mandalorian and there was that whole like healing scene, and then it made sense for Tross, and I was like, look at those connections, love that. Or like connections from like the Clone Wars into The Mandalorian. So I'm just like, so you're just giving me these shows first, 1, because you like me, 2, because they're going to be good, and 3, because this is going to inform something else I get later that has all these other really cool things I'm asking for. And I just, maybe I'm foolish for being that optimistic, but I'm that optimistic.
There you go. I think the other thing to kind of remember too with shows, especially like animation, they're always going to be a couple years behind to whatever's going on because it takes so long to get the ball rolling. And so like, there's a part of me that wonders if we didn't get Clone Wars season 7 because we were getting Bad Batch. Like, I kind of wonder if. Oh, hold on. I think my internet hiccuped. Looks like it's back though.
Yeah.
But I feel like I know that they were saying that it was like the fans, the excitement for the show, which I'm sure is also true. But like, if Dave and company were like, we really want to make this Bad Batch show, and then they're like, well, the vast majority of fans don't know who Bad Batch is, and I'm like, let's do Siege of Mandalore. Like, I could see it have gone like going in that order, and that starting that far back. And you know, we've talked before, maybe not on here, but we've talked before about like JJ's mystery box, and like I feel like a lot of people, because JJ kept TROS so secret, they weren't able to build stuff around the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
And so now anything that comes out of the Rise of Skywalker like can't start until we even gotten the Rise of Skywalker. So we might not be seeing that for a couple years down the road, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Didn't you say because you talked about the Clone Wars, and did you say that we had like either like storyboards or like unfinished episodes of what the Bad Batch would have been?
Yes.
So you saying that just makes me think it's like, so we thought Clone Wars was like officially canceled, officially over, and so they gave us the Royal Us, because I didn't watch this, the Royal Us, like these little snippets and things. And then you see the reaction like to that, and you're like, oh yeah, they're super into that. And it's like, we want to add them so that maybe, we can also have the show, because I do like that idea. But also they responded really well to this, really favorably to this. So we're going to include this as an art, because they didn't have to, you know, it could have just been anything else, because they could have been like, we already kind of spoiled that. No, you don't get the Bad Batch. So I also wonder if when they gave us like that sneak peek when they thought it was done, and it was like, oh, they like this. Do you want to make a show? I like this. And so
it could be. It absolutely could be. Welcome, John. No, I'm curious too, because I also kind of wonder, like, I feel like Bad Batch could end near about the time Rebels starts. And so I think this would be a good opportunity too, if they were like, well, we have these characters in Rebels, obviously everybody is waiting to see what happens next, so logically let's talk about what happened before, because that's what everyone really wants to know about, not where Thrawn and Ezra are.
Yeah. I have to believe we're gonna get that show.
We have to get that
also
show.
Because I have to think about things in a current day's climate. Not that I know what goes into making a television show, but it's also probably like, I know that production for things is like beginning again slowly with like safety precautions and things, but I just feel in my gut it has to be more COVID friendly to make animated shows, because you don't have to all be together. And so it wouldn't be a surprise to me if the animation department was just like, and we're working, because even if we have to shut down again, you can record from your homes.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, I don't think you're wrong about that. I'm not an insider. I don't really know what's going on, but I am talking on YouTube, so I'm somewhat of an expert. And I mean, that would be a safe way to go for sure with this kind of stuff. I would love to see it kind of come that way too. I don't know. It's tricky in a lot of ways, because I want to know more about this show and what it's going to be. And it's easy when there's a part, like, I get why they want to give you just a little bit of information at the time. I get why they only want to give you a little bit of the title. And I don't like knowing too much stuff ahead of time. But like, when all you give me is the title, my imagination can go all over. Like, it will sail the seas, and then you get the thing and it's like, oh, that's good too. You know? And it could be like, and if you had just told me that when I got the title, I'd be like, this is gonna be the best thing. But because you gave me time to sail the seas, and think about it, and that's the danger. Thinking is dangerous.
That's when you... That's what you take away from the stream. Thinking is dangerous. That's when you turn to AO3 and you just let them fill in all the gaps.
Exactly.
No, but yeah, I'm excited. Oh, I wanted to say, it's so funny. I was thinking about, I don't know why, things you say just also pop back into my brain. I was just like, oh, like I acknowledge you said that, but then you said it again.
Haunt you.
Oh my gosh. I don't know why, but that's...
I'm actually a Force ghost. I just appear.
Are you like a super, super blue Force ghost?
I'm so blue. I'm really good makeup, but really I'm just like sheer neon blue. Like if you were to see the real me, your eyes would just burn. I'm like toilet paper blue deep down on the inside.
Oh my gosh. What I was gonna say. See, what I have to say doesn't even matter now. I was just gonna say, I was thinking about when you were like thinking about who your favorite member of the Bad Batch was, because I think that's what everyone's question on Twitter and stuff was. They were like, who's your favorite? And I had my favorite, which is Hunter. But then I was like, is he really my favorite? But then it was the one episode where he was just like going for a ride. And I was like, you're going to be my favorite for forever, which means he's going to die or be in like some peril in this show. And I'm just going to cry and scream. But that's the burden of being a fan. Now I'm really hyped for it. Now I'm really, really excited. It does not take a lot to get me excited.
Just like, you just slap Star Wars on it, and I'm like, you know what, I'll give it a shot.
Okay, so here's the thing. The thing. I promise you guys I'm not negative.
Okay.
But I was in Walmart, I had to be there, had my mask on, everything was good. And I was like walking down the section with my cart or whatever. And then all I hear is this music. And then like, I'm not joking, like tears like started coming to my eyes. And I was like, what is this beauty? And then I turned, and on the giant TVs, it was the trailer for The Rise of Skywalker. And I was like, and it was like they were on the horse things, and it was the waves, and they were fighting. And I was like, why is Star Wars so beautiful? And you know that it's serious when it's me who's saying that for that. And I was just like, I love this so much. And I was just legit emotional for a good 10 minutes over this trailer for this movie that already happened, that I already have feelings about.
Look, as somebody who loved The Rise of Skywalker, I'll still tell you that trailer was better than The Rise of Skywalker. That trailer was like the best piece of Star Wars I've ever seen in my life.
It really, like after I left Walmart, it took 20 minutes to get home, and the whole time I just was like listening to the trailer, like the music in my car on loop, because I was like, I can't. It was so beautiful. So yeah, just put Star Wars on it. Just put John Williams music on it. Something John Williams-esque. Blue from Michael Giacchino and John Powell. And I'm good. I'm good.
Just give it a shot. No, this is good. I think we stayed on topic.
We stayed on topic, and we stayed like on time. What's happening?
I mean, like us. We technically, we can keep talking, but I'm just a little confused because, like, I feel like. Like, even the big kind of, like, excursions we went on still naturally moved back.
So here's what happened. Okay. We're not really Gina and Jess. Nope. We are Palpatine clones.
Yep.
And that is why we are not acting like our regular selves. We are clones of Palpatine.
You know? This is how you know we're related. Sorry. We don't have fingers.
But yeah, everyone spread that around Twitter. We're clones of Palpatine. We're not really real people.
True. We're out there always in the shadows. Low-key, the somehow Palpatine has returned thing is like my favorite meme. And I know, like, everyone does it to make fun of The Rise of Skywalker, but I very much love that meme with every part of my heart.
It's really good. It you know what? It sums up a lot of life right now, and so I very much appreciate that meme.
It's just like, just Oscar Isaac. I love how, like, if you just, the general perception of the movie is that somehow John Boyega had like the time of his life on that movie, and Oscar Isaac was like, "Get me out of here and in my misery" on that movie. And if there wasn't a more coupley reaction to being on that movie together, you know.
I was gonna say that's perfect for the both of them.
Meanwhile, Daisy's over there like, "Fine, guys, I'll do the hard work."
Do you know what? Say what you want about The Rise of Skywalker, but it gives us something every day. It gives us something.
There's a new gift every day.
Whether you want that gift or like that gift, who cares? It gave it to you.
It's true. I'm really curious in the future, not only for the sequel trilogy, but like with all of these shows, because like it's been so interesting to talk to people like yourself who kind of came into Clone Wars after it's done. Django did the same thing. He tried Clone Wars, didn't like it at first, and like swore it off. And then finally, like, I made him watch it, and he's like, "Okay, this is like the best show." And I'm like, "I tried to tell you." And so like it's so interesting to find people who like experience this stuff all at once versus people who kind of lived it week by week. Because like I want to scream on Twitter every day, everyone hated Mortis when those episodes came out. Do not give me this how much you love Mortis crap. And I'm really interested to see like what kids who grew up with the sequel trilogy and didn't have the 2-year waits to theorize, like how they feel about the movies. How do they feel about Resistance when they can just watch Resistance? How do they feel about Bad Batch when it wasn't like the, "Oh, that's what you announced"? Like when you can literally just watch the content and you don't have to think about the context of where the content came. Like I'm fascinated for like what the next wave of fans will be like in 10 years.
Once again, I don't know who tweeted this, so I'm so sorry, but your tweet was amazing. I saw this tweet that said that for everyone who's complaining that The Rise of Skywalker is messy and it doesn't make sense and it's not a good movie. Like not a good movie.
Right.
They said all of Star Wars is basically like that. You just had years to like acclimate yourself to the original trilogy and to the prequel trilogy. And this one like literally just happened, so you're not used to it. But Star Wars has always been like that. And I don't truly know the validity of that statement because although I knew about Star Wars, I didn't care about it until The Force Awakens. So I guess in like, by the time I have like future kids or my future kids have future kids, I'll be able to be like, well, when I was watching, you know, and they'll probably just be like, "Mom, I love it all." So I fully believe that with...
I went to the library. Sorry, that was a really inside joke that only some people will get. Hey, Dave, welcome. Dave, Steve's here.
I really like that you said that.
I don't understand 90% of Raylo community memes, but I know that they are memes, and that's enough sometimes.
So yeah, I fully believe that years from now, when everyone watches everything, just like all the way through, they'll be like, "I like these movies. Who cares? Let's go." I fully believe that with like my entire heart, and I'll probably by that time just be like, "Rise of Skywalker was good." Well, I really do just think it's a time thing. Yeah, we're gonna like it all.
It's, you know, it'll come around. Well, and I think too, even with representation issues, as they hopefully get better, you can then look back at other stuff and not like when Rey is not the only female lead Jedi in the movies. Obviously, we have Ahsoka, but like in terms of movies, stage level, when she's eventually, hopefully, not the only one, there won't be that pressure for her to be something.
Also, if you think about it, like, you know, Dave, fan of Star Wars, Ryan, JJ, all super fans of Star Wars, and then they got to grow up and make Star Wars. Well, it's gonna be us who gets to grow up and make Star Wars, and
Lucasfilm, we have ideas here at Dome Tuna.
We do.
We have so many.
And at least in the Star Wars like corner of Twitter that I'm on, because I mean, I follow people who I agree with. I follow people who I don't agree with. And sometimes one person can tweet out one thing and I'm like, yes. And they can tweet out something an hour later and I'm like, no.
I've had that reaction from people too, where I'm like,
And I fully believe that if we're the ones who's making it, it's going to turn out okay. Because there's going to be something for everyone. Everyone's going to feel seen, and it's going to be authentic and accurate. And you're going to have something for the people who are like, myth, hero's journey. And you're going to have something who's like, just blow it up in space. And then you're going to have something for the people who's like, so I like the Force, but can I have it 20% less? And then you're going to have something for the people who are like, the Force on steroids. And it's going to be good.
I completely agree. I think you're right. And I think that's, unfortunately, that's going to be a great place to leave it, because I'm at time. We're able to like fit this in. We've tried to do this stream a couple of times now. And it's just not worked out. So we went with it today. So we're running a little shorter than I usually like to make these streams. But we're here, and it happened.
And we were on time. We were on topic.
Most of the time.
Because we're clones.
Of Palpatine, specifically. You can tell because I don't have fingers. That's probably low-key offensive somehow, but
I'm Ray's dad, who turned out basically decent, which is why I do have really long fingers.
Exactly. When the first time I met you, I was like, I bet that's Ray's
dad. That's what was in JJ's mystery box time. I'm Ray's dad, guys. I'm Ray's dad.
What's so sad is like our friends who outside of this community don't watch these streams, and then you and I just go on and no one knows what we're talking about.
We're gonna be in their streams just like, we're clones, I'm Ray's dad, and like, you guys.
Oh man. But yes, thank you again for being here, and thank you everybody in the chat for hanging out today. It means a lot. And I'll be around. Should be another KOTOR stream later this week, and we'll figure some stuff out. We don't have a super regular schedule yet, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
And have a good day, everyone. Bye.